How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? I just wanted to make another quick video giving you guys a little bit of my evidence. If you've been keeping track of my YouTube channel, you know kind of part of what we've been through with doctors refusing us. I've seen a couple of different doctors since my last video. They finally quit refusing to see me, and I found out that I have a spinal injury as well. In the lumbar of my spine, I have a disc that is crushed, completely crushed, and my spine rubbed together until it fused together. It is excruciatingly painful, and the doctors are even refusing to prescribe me non-narcotic medication. Tramadol is one of the non-narcotic medications that I've been on that helps a little bit. For what I have, it doesn't help a lot, but at least I can move around. They're still refusing to prescribe me that. I found one doctor, or two different doctors, that prescribed me a very small amount of it, and then the next doctor that I saw in an urgent care told me that I could not come back asking for non-narcotic medication, and she tried to recommend me for medical marijuana. Well, I've already tried medical marijuana, and it does not work for me. Number one, all it does is get you high. With all the Americans today out there, promoting marijuana, maybe it's good for cancer patients, and they say it's good for all these different things, but and realistically, all it does is get a person high, at least that's all it ever did for me, and I did not enjoy that at all. It causes hallucinations and things that are just not kosher to me, and I don't want my son around it. At least with a pain medication, I can keep him in my pocket or keep him locked up in a lockbox, and my son doesn't have to see me take him, and there's no odor. He knows nothing about it, So I'm still, having that battle, fighting that battle, and hopefully something good will happen soon. The very last doctor that I saw told me that the most they could do was injections, and I told him, I've already been down that road. Somebody injected me the wrong way in one of my knees, and my knee swelled up like the size of 5 softballs, and I could barely walk for like 3 or 4 days, and I can't go through that again, especially not in my spine. That's not even cool. So I wanted to show you some of my evidence. I know I showed you some about my handlers. Now I'm going to show you some of my evidence that pertains to the illegal eviction that occurred a year ago in HUD housing, mind you, okay? And for those of you that don't know what HUD housing is, the rent is based upon your income. It is still federal housing, but it's not welfare. And they're not allowed to evict you for losing a job like they did me. And they're not allowed to not accept a rent payment like they did me. I had a bunch of problems. I had people breaking in. The landlord was totally against me. She hated me from the minute that we walked into that place, and she was always, constantly coming over and checking on us and all this stuff, and making it hard for me. It's been ridiculous, the things we've gone through. Okay, and I'm going to show you just a text message, a picture of a text message here. This is from my landlord, and you can see it says Crystal Browning was my landlord. She said, "I cannot accept the partial rent payment." And this is after I lost my job due to discrimination. At this employer I'd worked at for over a year, my son and I had been drugged repeatedly in the food. It was a pizza restaurant. I knew something was funny at first because it was such a small amount, but I still felt kind of weird, and since we'd been through it before, I thought, well, I'm gonna purchase some drug tests and see what I can do. Well, I did purchase drug tests, and I proved it. I have text messages telling the general manager, to prove the timeline and all this stuff, and the cops would not even let me press charges against these people. They stole my tip money. They drugged us. They pickpocketed some of my pain medication out of my pocket once, even, and the cops even wrote me a ticket, a citation for disturbing the peace for for screaming at these people. And then they allowed them to fire me. And then, from what I understand, the only thing that happened is that the GM that was working at the time wound up getting fired himself. But I received no, reparations for any of the things that they did. And at the time, my son was, I think he was 2.5 years old. I mean, who drugs a 2.5-year-old child? And what kind of judge lets somebody get away with that? It's just ridiculous. Okay, and then I showed you the picture of the partial payments. That she would not accept. Let's see here. I also tried to claim unemployment, and I did get unemployment at the time for a very short period of time. And I told my landlord, and right here it says, I'll need that verification back before you pay rent so I have the right amount. Thanks. Okay. Now, she just went ahead. She didn't even wait for the verification. And I'll show you what she did here. I've got proof that here it is. You can barely see it, but I'll read it to you. I wrote her a text saying, Crystal, I got your 3-day notice this morning. I just wanted to inform you that I am not refusing. Let me finish the message here. That's just part of it. I'm not refusing to pay my rent. I'm just waiting for unemployment. Okay. Now, besides the fact that she broke, I don't know how many Montana laws these judges allowed her to break. She committed 5 counts of perjury under oath in the courtroom, and she also falsified a document. There was a date on a document that she wrote in on there that is not in my handwriting, and then my signature was by it, which is completely and totally illegal, and it's very obvious because we have 2 totally different handwritings. She wouldn't accept a rent payment, which is illegal. She, in HUD housing, if you lose your employment, they're not allowed to evict you. They have to decrease your rent. Well, they just kind of bypassed that whole thing and said, screw you, Mr. Sones. And they know that I have a child. You can see him back there. He's still with me. He's with me every dang day. He is with me Monday through Sunday. There's only 8 hours a week that he spends with his mother, and that's when I work on Friday and Saturday nights at Pizza Hut, and then I pick him right back up for about 4 hours each shift. Here's some of the things that the tenants were even helping the landlord just try to stress me out and frustrate me. This is my parking spot right here, and as you can see, they're parking their bicycles and then blocking it where I can't even pull in and move their bicycles. Okay, they've done that on more than one occasion, and they even defaced the property and wrote and spray painted. I have a picture of it somewhere. I'm not going to look for it now. They spray painted their apartment letter on my parking spot just to try to keep me, from parking there and to stress me out. And this was all around Christmas before last. I'll show you if you can see right here. Here is my son right here with our Christmas tree in our apartment. Here's my big screen television with our sound bar, and all these pictures up here are every year, of Coulter taking pictures with Santa Claus. Here's all the all the presents that he received. All this stuff was stolen illegally. Not only did they illegally evict me and do all of these screwed up things, commit the 5 counts of perjury and falsify documents, they stole all of my son's Christmas presents a month after he received them, everything that we owned except for like a week's worth of clothes and some of our camping and survival gear and our truck. That was all we were allowed to leave with. They lied and said they gave me notice to come pick up my stuff. I have another text message. I don't know if I put it in any of my videos, but I actually have evidence for over 20 lawsuits. And I'm slowly putting some of it on there. I've basically just been explaining my situation. I guess the first evidence, video with evidence was of my handlers, Jeffrey Beckman and Jackson Hudson. But I think I'm just going to start making videos and slowly putting all my evidence on the internet again. The only reason why I haven't been is because before I started, or I should say right in the middle of all my lawsuits, I did that with my Facebook account. I put every single thing I had almost on Facebook at that point in time, which of course I've accumulated more since then. And so all of a sudden my Facebook account was shut down. Darndest thing, I received an email saying that they were shutting my account down due to hate speech. And even though I am a separatist, there was no hateful things on there at all. I've learned throughout the years that the only thing that I spread is love for family and my people, and especially my son. I mean, the main thing I had on there was pictures of things me and my son did together, shooting the rockets off, doing BMXing, and all this other stuff. It's just amazing how crazy this world has become, that people can be discriminated and targeted in such a manner that their whole lives can be destroyed and nobody cares. Nobody will do anything about it. So yeah, everything was stolen illegally. Here we are. It's a year and a half later, and we're still living in hotels. I'm still barely able to work 30 hours a week. I have to push myself to do that. Of course, we're behind on everything. We don't have a place. My truck's breaking down. Everything's going south, but at least I guess we have a roof over our head. But it's been tremendously painful, and to put a child through this just isn't right. On top of it, his mother gets welfare for him and always has, like, since he was born, and she refuses to help us at all. She gets food, she gets free housing, and then she works and she doesn't report her earnings. These people around here, I guess, all the cops and the judges and the government, they know I'm a targeted individual, obviously, because they're targeting me. They're having me targeted. And so they let her get away with murder. She can do whatever she wants. She can get everything for free, work as many jobs as she wants, and then she steals my tax refunds on top of that. It's amazing. It's really amazing how far they can push somebody. Especially somebody with I could be in a wheelchair someday because of my disability. But I still work and I still pay the bills. I still feed my son. I have to. I love him, and there's nothing else that I can do. Just keep fighting. I'd like to get a lot more of my evidence on there, and in the near future, I will make more videos, and I'll start getting all my evidence together again. I've got millions of SD cards and USBs with pictures of every single thing you could think of, and I keep everything quadruple backed up just because of everything we've been through. I have some paper documents, but it's going to take me an eternity to go through it all and just to slowly put it all online. We're probably past the point of no return, and there's no way I'm going to be able to sue anybody or anything anyway now. The judges shut down 8 of my civil lawsuits illegally. I proved a whole ton of discrimination, and they just didn't care. Gallatin County, Bozeman, Montana, Belgrade, Montana, and Manhattan, Montana. Those are the 3 towns this county is in, or surrounds, and it's just amazing. Nobody cares. I've written Democrats, I've written Republicans, and neither side gives a shit. I even sent, as far as my medical stuff goes, I sent paperwork to civil rights places, and it was kind of funny because one of the places sent me a letter back, and they said the first 2 sentences of the letter basically said what they would fight for. And what they would fight for was exactly what I was going through. And then they said, "But Mr. Sones, we can't fight for you." It's like, really? I mean, I have all the evidence proving exactly what you fight for is what I'm going through, and they didn't care. I even sent off paperwork reporting a judge to the circuit courts in California for the illegal eviction and not abiding by federal and state laws. And it's a funny story with that is the court clerk. I called to make sure it was filed, and the court clerk told me, she said, "Well, yeah, that's not supposed to be filed here. I sent it back to you." Really? Reporting a judge is most definitely supposed to be filed in the circuit district courts for your state, which is California. And she even told me that what I needed to do was send it back to Montana. And I was like, well, I mean, first off, she knows she's lying, number one. And then number two, even if she wasn't lying, which I knew she was, reporting a judge in the same state that they work in is a big no-no because they have too many friends in that state. That is why we have circuit courts in different states. So people in different demographic locations can make a judgment that is not involved with the judge themselves. I mean, somebody that doesn't know the judge or know their family or have any ties to them. That's the whole purpose of having circuit courts in different states. And obviously they've just shown how connected all these people are and how all these courts are in the federal government and the little small state governments. Especially for targeted individuals, they don't give a shit. They want to see you in a psych ward or dead, and that's the bottom line. It's really disgusting. Our country is in such a mess. I can't believe that American people are so content with their little electronic devices and their little jobs and their credit cards and stuff, and they're so wrapped up in their family life and stuff, and they're too afraid to fight when you should be fighting, because none of this stuff is going to exist anymore if you don't fight. Eventually their families will be targeted and harassed and tortured and all this stuff. I mean, if interest rates and having to work your ass off all the time to barely get anywhere isn't enough, then I don't know, because there was enough for me then, and then now I'm tortured, and now I want to go out on a freaking rampage. So I'm going to make some more videos. I'm going to put some more info on there, and hopefully I'll get some more subscribers and a little bit more support. I know a lot of you don't like watching videos like this, and I don't blame you. But at the same time, this is the kind of stuff that's going to make our country better and make our country stronger in the end if we all stand up and fight and stick up for each other. So I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be coming at you with another video sometime soon with more evidence from my past. And you guys take care. Thanks.